If you're wondering what the future is for EVs and specifically Teslas, with brand new chargers being leaked just this week and also a lot of new opposition, if you're wondering what the future looks like, stick around. Electric vehicles. There's been so many different stories online and a lot of misinformation on the confidence of EVs and specifically full self-driving. Well, as somebody who's driven my Model 3 rear-wheel drive for over 20,000 miles, I use autopilot frequently. But what does the other group of individuals say? A recent survey of Americans show that they do not trust self-driving, and the numbers are pretty staggering. So we're going to talk about how confident people are in autopilot and full self-driving, brand new V4 chargers coming soon to Arizona, and non-Teslas being able to use your supercharger. Let's get right into it. A new survey shows that Americans are some of the least likely folks to believe in full self-driving vehicles, with 76% of this survey's respondents saying they're not convinced of full self-driving accuracy or safety. This is a survey from Polygenius, and it goes on to say that 73% of people feel less safe knowing that other people are on the road traveling in cars using full self-driving technology. Well, this is really confusing because per the data that Tesla has on the miles driven in autopilot and full self-driving, in the fourth quarter of 2021, one crash was recorded for every 4.31 million miles using technology like autopilot, whereas on a normal basis in the United States, it's one crash in every 484,000 miles. So what is the future of EVs? Well, that's what we're talking about in this video, right? Well, it's confusing because 70+% say they would never buy or trust full self-driving, but then we see articles like this. Americans are more interested in EVs than ever. Well, with anything like these headlines say, you have to take them with a grain of salt, but the fact is, we can look at Tesla's sales, and year over year, they're almost exponentially growing. And why is this? Well, that is because of their supercharging network and technology and safety. And speaking of that supercharging network, there's a brand new supercharger being rumored to be installed soon, coming to Arizona, the very first V4 charger. So speaking of the future for EVs, this is a one-of-a-kind concept, and Marco RP Tesla on Twitter says the world's first known V4 supercharger is coming soon to Yuma County, Arizona. So basically, what this means is the very first supercharger that has solar canopies. Marco goes on to say there will be 2 solar canopies, one covering the main block of 24 chargers, excluding the pull-through, and another covering the remaining 16. Now, if you look at this report, I'll just break it down for you. These superchargers will be more centrally located in a parking lot, whereas typically those superchargers will border the perimeter. If you're not aware of this, I'm going to tell you right now. One of the biggest things that EV haters like to say is that charging your Tesla is powered by dirty energy like coal or what have you. And you have to imagine if you go to a supercharger that's powered by solar, this will be a huge win for Tesla to provide constant energy to Teslas and to non-Teslas. So even my home state of Pennsylvania, I'm currently in Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania, is considering solar-powered EV charging stations in a state that does not get too much sunshine, but it does cut down on cost while giving you sustainable, consistent charging energy. And speaking of the future of EVs and superchargers, they are now being released to even more countries for non-Tesla use. Just recently, Tesla Charging has announced that Iceland is the newest country being added to the non-Tesla charging list. So we can see here a list of 13 countries total, from France to Finland to Germany to now Iceland, are doing this new initiative to give non-Tesla owners the ability to charge at superchargers owned by Tesla. So as far as the future goes in non-Tesla owners using superchargers here in the United States, look at this. Tesla is using this pilot program to determine the processes for opening supercharging networks here in the United States to other automakers. And this goes on to say that in June, the White House also indicated that it would Tesla opened its supercharging network to other automotive brands as the new supercharger equipment was in production. There are more sustainable chargers being built for non-Teslas and Teslas, but there are 7 key things that Tesla haters or skeptics have said have to happen for them to consider buying an EV, and here's what they are. So this survey from Park Associates asked those who neither own an EV or plan to purchase one in the future what would motivate them to consider buying an EV. So that list is right here. The ability for an EV to travel 400 miles on a single charge. Widespread EV charging. Well, we just talked about there are non-Tesla users being able to take advantage of supercharging networks. A tax break on vehicle purchases. Well, the EV tax credit has been passed here in the United States, and subscribe to get more information on which Teslas do qualify on that. An electric plan that is cheaper than gas. Well, I can tell you right now, I spend around $55 to $75 on a monthly basis for my charging. That's definitely cheaper than gas. The ability to charge while electric rates are low and power your home off of your car when rates are high. So you can charge your Tesla at off-peak hours. You can actually schedule this in your Tesla app and charge your car at the lower electricity rates in your area. Now you cannot yet, but you can with Tesla Powerwall and Tesla Solar power your home off of Tesla car technology, but there are other products out there from Tesla that allow you to do that. The ability to power your home when there is a power outage. Again, this survey was about EV cars, and like I just said, the Tesla vehicle cannot do this, but there are other Tesla Powerwall and other products that can. And the ability to understand the degree of the carbon footprint reduction. Well, we can actually answer that one for you. After 6,500 miles, the Model 3 and Model Y have a lower lifetime emissions than the equivalent ICE vehicle, again, driving after 6,500 miles. So the future of EVs, well, we can see here as far as emissions go, owners of a Model 3 and Model Y have less than half the emissions lifetime than the average premium ICE vehicle if they're charging on the grid for personal use. And of course, that goes down if you're charging with solar. So the future of EVs, with more and more skeptics being out there, but the answers being available online and through Tesla's offerings, the solution is clear. EVs should be the future for sustainability, for lower emissions, for high performance vehicles, something you really want to consider. So I want to know what you think down in the comment section below. What are your thoughts of the future of EV technology? Will this come to be the future of car sales as we know it? And will Tesla lead the pack? As always, the only way I know you like this video is to drop a like and consider subscribing for all of those updates to the EV tax credit, Tesla vehicles, and more. Again, this is Matt from Frunk to Trunk. We will see you in the next video.